Hello and welcome to this Cloud Computing Essentials session. In this session, I would be briefly explaining about this presentation on AWS. I mean the introductory part, what is necessary and what is all necessary to prepare for certification, etc., etc., all the details. See, my name is Anand. I am also an AWS Certified Solution Architect. Okay, and along with this, I have many other certifications like Red Hat, which includes even cyber security from CEH as well as CompTIA Security Plus, etc. So just let me be brief about this presentation. Okay, let me move ahead. Yeah, cloud computing. So just if I explain about in a line, it is basically a service which is deployed across internet. In short, it is an internet-based cloud computing service, in which various remote servers are networked to allow centralized data storage and online access to computer servers and resources. Okay. So, based on the orientation, there are three types of clouds. The public cloud, which you can access from internet, from the internet. Any servers or service which you can access through internet is public. Private is exclusively reserved, like an intranet. So it is exclusively for organization specific, etc. Like it can be a banking system or it can be any retailing system or anything. And the hybrid, which is a combination of private and public. So this is again mostly used in many of the industries. Like if I say about even in banking also, some services are available on net banking and some services are exclusively at the bank. So this type of things which you call as when you can access across the intranet, we call as private. When you can access through public, internet, we call as public. When you have both, then we call as hybrid. Okay. So now let me explain about the fundamentals about this cloud computing. See, when you see this, there are three type of services. Services like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. These are the three services. When you speak about infrastructure, you can see the components like networking, storage, servers, virtualization. These all components come across in your virtual infrastructure. Basically, what all the elementary things which are required. So now when you speak about the platform, like an operating system, it can be Windows Server or it can be Linux server with various flavors, etc. Okay, and middleware, runtime environment. These all these things where the direct environment, indirect environment comes into the picture is called as a platform as a service. And the final thing which is called as the application data, applications are all considered as software as a service. You can see all the steps which are coming across IAS, PAS and SAS. These are the fundamentals about, in whichever cloud, whichever ISPs who provide cloud, they follow this practice. Now let me focus on the most important one. Like these are all the top providers of cloud service providers. You see out of which Amazon services, web service, AWS we call as, this is the number one across all. That's why we are learning this AWS. Not only that, you have Windows also, which is equivalently competitive. Windows, they have a trademark called as Azure, Microsoft. So you have Google, you have VMware, you have OpenStack, DigitalOcean, Liquid Web, and many other providers. Okay, so these are all only the vendors basically, which are more specific. Now you see why AWS. Why AWS? You can see there are many providers who are there. The market ratio as of 2019, I think this particular one, Q3 of 2019, you have AWS contribution of near to 40%, Azure about 20%, and the rest all of them is approximately like 40% of the total market ratio which are there. You can see Google Cloud and also many other providers. IBM Cloud is also there 3%, and others are all occupy the ratio about 21%. You can see there are various enterprise customers also which are a part of AWS. Now let me speak about certifications. This is the most important slide which I wanted to demonstrate. Like AWS came up with a definite, a structured course orientation plan. So for different levels, there are different type of certifications, and also different type of, people, domains. There are different type of certifications. You can see this. The foundational level is called as a practitioner. This is common for all, and this foundational knowledge is required. And the next level, the most important level, I always say that you focus on associate, and then once you are an associate, you can become professional. So AWS made a mandate that for writing a professional exam, you have to have an associate certificate. And also for specialty, in the right hand side you can see, for specialty also minimum of associate is required. No need of, no mandate for, as to write as a professional. You can see there are three towers in associate levels. One is architect, the other is a developer, then the third one is operations. So these three are having a different focus areas, especially in architect. You can see like we will be focused with various AWS services, and of course I'll be giving briefing about what the expectations of a solution architect. But whereas a developer associate, there are some slight changes. In fact, indeed, you need to know about the components of AWS very much, but in additionally we need to have some development areas like serverless computing, like Lambda service or a Beanstalk. These things also are very much important and the focus areas. Of course, operations also require some automated areas. These are the three basic elements. For I recommend, more or less solution architect to be a base, so that in enhanced you can go for a solution architect. And also last year, 2019, Amazon has introduced a specialty. So you can see here there are 5 levels, 5 skills which has been introduced to become eligible for specialty. Of course, you need to have an associate level exam. So you can see here in a specialty, advanced networking, big data, security, machine learning, and of course, advanced networking is also, Alexa skill builder is also there, which is coming across. So these domains, like if we speak about advanced networking, will be focused highly, especially when you are a data center specialist or something like that, like a big data. Of course, security is also one of the important component. Like vulnerabilities across these main cloud, public, private clouds, etc. will be there, and of course the penetration testing, web attacks, and many other components are there in security. Of course, machine learning, we have various components inside this AI and ML, and also the big data like MapReduce, etc. will be the components. So this is also the new areas which has been introduced by Amazon Web Services. Okay, now let me focus on the roles and duties of a solution architect. One, conducting an evaluation. Okay, this is more. Ensuring on-time delivery, identification of customer requirements, working along with the pre-sales department, communicating system requirements, overseas assignment. These are more or less generic things, but more or less you need to be aware about the technical literacy. That is the cloud components here especially. And of course, analytical assessment. Which type of environment or what type of components fit to customer, what type of areas. This is more important. And also how basically you can really solve the problems. That is more important. Solution architect, problem solving. Of course, there are many other things which are correlated, are communication skills and schedule management. These are the important roles and duties of solution architect. So now let me explain about how AWS has mapped their infrastructure. So like a data center which is there. Data center is a quite, where your servers, network infrastructure, and many other components are posted across. Like it has a power redundancy, network redundancy, and many factors which are there. People often, especially, store all these servers and provide the customers with SLAs about 99.99% service level agreements. So this is the kind of infrastructure which they map across the data centers. There are many popular data centers. Like some of the popular data centers are from, you can see from IBM, you can have from Liquid Web, or maybe Facebook, or maybe many other, out of which Amazon also has their global infrastructure spread across the world. So you can see these are all, Amazon has basically spread across in the form of regions, we call as regions. Within every region, we have a zone, we have zones. So you can see extreme end in North America, you have about the regions, 3 regions which are there. The region, west region, east region, you have zones again in that. Within that you have a zones. Even in India also you have a region which is located at Mumbai. You have 2 zones inside that. Okay. So like this, even in California, North Virginia, you have 6 zones basically, the largest data centers which are there. Even you see in Europe you have. So like this, you have number of zones across various parts of the globe. You can see. So where what is that region contains? Region contains zones where in each zone it's like a subnet basically. Each zone is basically can communicate to other zones. Okay, but with the with its own subnets. Like you have the servers services deployed across, which will be covering across in the next coming slides. So in these particular data centers and across the region, across the what we call as the other parts of the locations, so they can access the servers from these particular regions and zones. So the green color are the new regions which are coming across, which will be coming across very soon. Now coming back to the free tag. Amazon offers free tag for everyone. I mean, once you register yourself, of course, you need to provide your preliminary, data, with your phone number and all the things. Once you have completed, he'll ask you about the credit card or a debit card or whatever it is, a card. And once you have signed on from the URL awsamazon.com, you have many things which you can access. Like the most important thing is 750 hours of EC2. So what is EC2? I'll be discussing later. Till then, you can basically understand as Elastic Compute Cloud. It is a virtual, a computer instance where you can access for about 750 hours in a month. That is, that too, you can access for 12 months, not for 1 month, 12 months. So, and also you can see many other things like 5 GB of S3. S3 means simple storage service. You can keep your data about 5 GB and many other things which are there. 750 hours of relational data services and 1 million Lambda kits across for every month. Okay, so and many other services are also available from time to time. So this is what AWS Free Tier offers. So now I'll also speak about this edge locations. So an edge location is where an end user access service is located at AWS. See why this basically we have edge locations, like even in India also you can see there is a Bangalore, Delhi. Okay, these are the edge locations which are available. They are located in most of the major cities around the world and are specifically used by CloudFront to distribute cloud content, CDN, cloud content delivery network, to end users to reduce the latency. Data center may be a little bit far away for us to access. So what AWS has done, he has kept an edge location so that the edge location is almost, it will reduce the latency of the network. Like if I have about 20 milliseconds, it will come down. It will come down as if the server is next to you. So in this way, AWS helps us in order to access our servers at a faster rate. So you can see there are number of edge locations in Europe, also in North America, also in South America, also you can see. Okay, so this is about. So let me summarize: region, availability zone, and edge locations. Each region is a separate geographic area, completely independent, isolated from other regions, helps achieve the greatest possible fault tolerance and stability. So communication between regions, one region to another region, is through internet only. So I always suggest to host your servers within the region only, so that if you deploy one server over there, the other server in another region, you can communicate only using this internet. So each region has multiple availability zones. As I said, when you sign up to North Virginia, you have about 6 zones which are there. 6 zones. Each availability zone is physically isolated, geographically separated from each other, and it is designed as independent failure zone. AZs are connected with low latency private links. See, these are very, very important. Low latency is very, very important. So people often ask for, customers often ask for low latency, high performance. Okay. Edge locations are the locations, as just we discussed, maintained by AWS through a worldwide network CDN content delivery of data centers for distribution of content to reduce latency. So this is how the AWS infrastructure is mapped across in all the areas, across the globe. So now let me move ahead with the AWS services. Okay, this map in this AWS services, you can see the foundation layer, the application services, and the deployment service, deployment and management. Of course, each of them are beautifully colored. I'll just explain about the foundational services, and then I'll move ahead with application service and deployment. So you see extreme left, you see this compute. In this compute, you can see EC2 and Lambda. So, and in storage, you can see this is grouped as, we can see it is AWS Storage Gateway, Glacier, CloudFront, and CDN. In database, you can see RDS, DynamoDB, Redshift, and Elastic Cache. Like in networking, you can see about Amazon Route 53, Amazon VPC, and about Direct Connect. I may not explain about all the contents as of now, but just explore. These are all the dashboard of AWS of what all services this has been provided. Like EC2 is nothing but an instance. I'll explain about an instance. A server, when hosted across a network, Amazon calls it as an instance. Okay, and Lambda is basically a service which is available without a server. I mean serverless computing. You have a code, you want to execute, you want to get the results. It can be maybe like a Python or a PHP or a Java, whatever it is, the code which is there. You can simply upload the code, just run it across in Lambda service. Okay, the other things, like I'll be explaining the other things also as and when we move across. Just to overline, in this application service also, you have the important areas which has to be focused, especially in solution architect training as well as your developer associate. You have to understand about this. I mean, the components like IAM, basically administration and security, identity and access management. No doubt, definitely there will be a number of questions which will be asked in IAM. And you can see about CloudWatch and CloudTrail also are very much focused areas. In deployment, the CloudFormation is very much focused. Of course, analytics may not be much questioned for your solution architect, that is a specialty exam. And in the top layer deployment, you can see application services, more or less like SQS, SES, SNS, SNS, simple notification service, queue service, SES stands for simple email service. All these are very, very important. Of course, like your, along with your, the other, other areas. Okay, so let me move ahead and explain one by one about the services. So this is again the same dashboard which is divided for our simplicity. So there are 7 domains which are there, which we need to focus, especially in solution architect. The first one is your cloud, the compute. As spoken now about, we speak about EC2, Beanstalk, Lambda, scaling, auto scaling, auto load balancing. These are very, very important components. You need to basically understand completely especially for the role of a solution architect. And of course, now let me move ahead to the other areas like even storage content. You see this EBS, Elastic Block Store, basically EFS, Elastic File System. Yes, you need to know about all these things. S3, simple service, simple storage service. Glacier, okay, Snowball. Snowball is a hardware basically where it takes a GBs and TBs of archives and dumps it into Amazon Cloud. So storage gateway, CloudFront, okay, these are all important one. And database, of course, Amazon database supports about relational. There are 6 models of database services. You will be focusing on all various. It can be as simple as MySQL, MS SQL, or maybe MariaDB, or maybe the other DBs also which are there like Oracle or MS, Microsoft SQL, etc. All these things are focused. DynamoDB, basically it focuses on NoSQL, where no structured will be there in this DynamoDB. We need to we'll be focusing in our subsequent presentations. Okay, Elastic Cache, how it improves the performance. Redshift, very complex database, etc. All these things are handled. Enterprise class are handled in Redshift. Networking, this is the 4th component which is there. You will be focused on basically the most important one is VPC, virtual private cloud. So in this VPC, how to create a private cloud. Okay, so this is more important. Of course, direct connect, where Amazon basically gives a lease line concept to you, to your enterprise, and to basically the data center. So this is what direct connect means. And Route 53 is like your hosting, a website hosting. You can purchase your domain, and once you purchase, you can host a website over there and launch the website from there. So all these hosting components will be there in this Route 53. And now next is the management tools which are there. Management tools, you can see about CloudWatch, CloudFormation, and CloudTrail. So in this CloudFormation, like you can write a script using JSON or YAML, and then with a single script deploy the code, and then the entire, the cloud, whether it is private cloud or your, list of servers will be deployed within the help of the code. In this application services, we'll be focusing about simple email service, simple notification, simple queuing, simple workflow services. These all are, and many more things are there, like how to create a queue, how to notify, whether it can be like your email or it can be to your, trigger, or it can be even to any other servers or services. Workflow services will be there. Email service also, how you can send emails to your bulk emails, etc. So these are the 7 areas where you'll be focused more for solution architect. Of course, the other areas which are there, the 8th area is the developer tools, may not be much focused, like how to deploy a code or maybe code commit, and all these things will not be questioned much. But certain things like, I mean, certain things like the things like, CLI, command line interface tools also are needed. Additionally, we also need to know about the APIs, basically, like maybe SDKs. We also call it SDKs, software distribution kits. Like the popular ones are like maybe your Eclipse, of course, your Visual Studio, etc. So how to connect from backend to the AWS services which are being deployed. So these things also you'll be learning much more in this solution architect as well as your developer associate. Okay, so now let me brief out about what is EC2. Computing services. Let me go one by one. So EC2 is basically a virtual server that provides resizable compute capacity on the cloud. So in Beanstalk, I'll reproduce. We have a application container used for deploying and managing containers. It creates an environment for working with web applications. As said earlier, Lambda is basically a serverless computing. You have a code in response to events and automatically manages in computing resources. Okay, and container service is also another one. So let me brief out about the terminology in storage services. The main is simple storage service S3. It's like a bucket which is there, a bucket which is unique where across the world, and this can be accessed on internet also. You can dump the storage. We also call this as objects, whether it is folders or files. So once you store across, you can have a URL or endpoint, so that with help of that you can even host a static website, or even you can host your content, material, whatever is the areas which is there. This supports many other features, like when you see the properties, you have this versioning and many other factors which are there. So even you can with the help of S3 you can trigger to Lambda, etc. Many these functions also are there. Okay, CloudFront, which is there, it is, as said earlier, it is basically a content delivery network. It basically provides a way to distribute the content with low latency. It is basically a concept where the end customers or the people who are using at a non-regional or where the AWS regions are not applicable, this CloudFront brings at a faster rate, basically low latency. Okay, so especially for data distribution. Now the Glacier. Glacier is nothing but a low cost. It's like storing something on tapes, storing tape. Here we have, it's not a high availability one. Once you ask for, you will get it for within 3 to 5, hours of time. You can restore, you can copy. So anything which is basically a very low prioritized, or extremely low, which is availability. If you want, you can keep it across in this Glacier, basically. EFS, Elastic File Storage. Of course, elastic file storage is basically storage used in EC2 instance and connects. CFS also, you have various type of storages which are there. I mean, if you are looking for SSD kind of things, solid state devices, you have very low latency, high performance. Of course, if my redundancy is not required, you have RRS kind of storage where you have approximately like lesser availability. I mean, lesser high. The durability is very high, but the availability will be a little bit lesser than what we call as SSDs, normal storage. And Snowball is a movement which is a device, basically a hardware device. Like you can move large amounts, like a TBs of data in and out using secure appliances. Once you order it, you'll get a Snowball. So you dump it across, and then the data again it can be restored to the servers. Basically, once it is connected to the AWS regional data centers. The storage gateway is basically a premises where the storage can be with the cloud storage backup and disaster recovery. Now let me move ahead with the database. Basically, database has many other, as explained earlier. RDS, we have several type of database SQL structured query language connectivities. It supports basically 6 kind of, I told you, like MS SQL, MySQL, and also MariaDB. Of course, the other things like Oracle and many other components which are there. DynamoDB is no SQL scalable data store that used to manage distributed replicas of high availability. So the thing is, in DynamoDB, thing is high availability. So Elastic Cache, Redshift also we spoke about, fully managed data warehousing service which makes cost effective to analyze all data used existing business intelligence tools. Data migration service is also a tool which is there. So I'll be speaking only the most focused areas for our exam, for a solution architect as well as developer associate. IAM is very important service as explained. Identity and access management. It helps in configuring the security for all services. It is used to ensure that our other services remain safe and inaccessible to others. Of course, the other things which are there like key management services which are need to be focused. Directory service is basically used to manage directory across. The users can be even allocated in such a way organizational requirements or unit requirements. And the other areas like WAF is a web application, a firewall, it is a device, inspector, cloud HSM, hardware security module. This one is a module basically. It's a device you can buy and attach to your IAM role, etc. So that this device will produce your passcodes. It's like a two-factor basically. So once it is there, once it is generated, you can really provide the security credentials. And management tools, of course. These are again the most important areas like CloudWatch. We basically for collection of various metrics. Like it can be like from CPU, maybe a minute wise or 5 minute wise or maybe 15 minute, whatever you want. You can, I mean CPU usage, or it can be even network, or it can be from the disk, like which we call as IOPS, or in and out. All these various type of metrics where you can collect it, and it can be analyzed for future. It can be used in both ways about the server computing, and also you can write even triggers also. Once if your CPU is more than 70%, you can go for scaling or something like that. So these things also will really create an alarms basically. Okay, so that is one most important area for solution architect as well as developer associate. Cloud formation is also another thing. As I spoke, it is a script based. Once you write a script, or basically with the script you can trigger the entire cloud, basically cloud formation across the network. It has various elements. You can write the script either in JSON or maybe script building tools also like YAML. So these things are essential, fundamentals or essentials of JSON is very important. So CloudTrail is basically like activity recording, basically APS calls on their account. Like you can also trigger some alerts basically with the help of CloudTrail. Like you can monitor basically, it's like a monitoring of the usage about the infrastructure which we have. And the other areas we have, but may not be that much very important, like OpsWorks, the config, and trusted advice. Okay, the application services, these are some of the areas, some areas like SES, SQS, and SWS are most important. Like you can see the simple email service used to send email, send and receive emails. queuing service. See, no doubt we have different services. All services needs to be executed and monitored. So SPS will basically streamline, like there are fundamental like FIFO, first in first out, etc. Service monitoring will be done. Each and everything is executed. The queue status also can be reported, or even the queue log also can be dumped, etc. Okay, so this is about this application services, and now this is one of the most important one is the networking service. So in networking service, not least all the three components. I mean, like VPC is the most important one of which. Virtual private cloud. Here you have a very good terminology which is coming up. You need to understand about the IP addressing. You need to understand about the subnets. You need to understand internet gateway. Okay, so all these things are very very important. So once you understand construction of virtual private cloud, and also you need to basically see about how the servers are accessed basically with help of from the public to private also, or you can say from the internet gateway, so to the virtual data center across various resources which are there. Route 53 is again another important, how you can create a domain basically. If you have a domain from a different service provider, how basically you can go a name registration service, how you can basically export the records, associate records, or point to record records to this particular areas. This again, you can expect more number of topics in this particular networking service. So analytics is one of the area. You may not be getting any questions from this particular analytics basically. Again, these are fast growing. When you are going for specialty exams, these are the areas where you focus more, like MapReduce, which is again for a big data content. And you can see Kinesis, machine learning, and other components like QuickSight pipeline. So these are again the topics which are given ahead. So which will be helpful for especially for the specialty kind of examinations. And the other areas where you can, which we have been shown across in the dashboard first, AWS console dashboard. You can see these developer tools which are there. Code commit, code deploy, code pipeline. Once again, I say about these enterprise apps, like more important thing is the backend tools you need to know about, like it can be as easy as SQL Workbench, or maybe even like SDKs, like as explained, you need to know about how to basically set up your Eclipse and again configure to your Amazon account. So once you configure that, you can how basically you can invoke through your Eclipse or your Visual Studio. This is also an important task. So not the least, you also need to know about the CLI. From the CLI, whether it is as simple as like creating a bucket or deploying a server, or maybe managing the server, or all these things also are very important, especially for managing the AWS services through the CLI. So if you have any questions, here is my mail ID. Please do ask questions. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Not the least, but I just wanted to add one more thing here. Just go through this AWS blueprint, which is available across in this website. Like I'll show you here. Once you go to awsamazon.com certification, here you can go through solution architect, or whether it is developer associate. See, the recent examination will be available from which is available from March onwards, this essay. So just download this particular one. You can see the contents of the blueprint, what all things which will be asked, the exam guide and the components which are there. Okay, so please go through these things. These are the 4 domains which are there, resilient areas across the contents which are there. Focus accordingly and go for this solution architect. And you can also see the rest of my videos about the contents flowing across what all which we have discussed now. Okay, once again, good luck for everyone. Bye.